All right, so I asked Dave Fiona for some time this evening because I have some ideas to the clan. We are a clan. Clan of Thunder Mountains. That's kind of how I picture us. That's how I envision us. We are a family. We're all part of the Varying March of Mons and Tonitrus. There are several sub-clans. We have households and guilds and academies and different activities with their own subcultures, and many of us belong to multiple of these sub-clans. We have families and individuals who are only tied to the overall clan or just a single clan. But we are all one clan of nobles, and we're all united under the Varying March of Mons and Tonitrus as shield and arms. We fight monsters and beasts. We stand forth and hold back the tide of the wild lands to the south and the barbarian kingdoms to the east, right? Right. We are the rangers and the wardens of the southern marches, and it takes all of us to be successful and to show that Mons and Tonitrus is full of amazing artisans, servants, archers, throwers, and fighters, because we are. It's up to us to work together. We need to try to be a slightly less dysfunctional family. I mean, we just have to be less dysfunctional than the other baronies, and that's really not that hard to do. It's on us to become a strong clan and to become those rangers and those wardens of the Thunder Mountains. We're small enough that we can do a lot of the things like a household and support each other in the barony, but it takes effort and commitment from everyone. The good gentles in this room and on this Zoom meeting this evening, well, you're already well aware of that, and just by being here. So you're already getting involved, and thank you so much for that. So I might be preaching to the choir. So I have a number of projects I'm adding to the list of things to do.
Yay!
These are ideas. There's nothing that says we have to do any of these things, but I think I presented this way back after the last Estrella War. Literally, I presented this at the first business meeting in March, the first business meeting after the Estrella War in March, before we knew the war was canceled and in preparation for the next Estrella War. We hadn't even shut down, the plague times had not come upon us fully yet. So once the war was canceled and we entered plague times, I kind of shelved all these ideas because it really was no longer pertinent to what we do. But now we have time. We have a new war. We have War of Phoenix. I did not present all of this before the first War of the Phoenix because that was such short notice. It would be way too hard, way too high level stress for us to try and get all that stuff. Any of the stuff that I have suggested on here to really get done. But now we have time. We have all the way until next February, beginning of February, to do some of these things. Some of these ideas are going to take time, and by their very nature are going to be ongoing projects. There's no reason to expect to get all of these things done. A lot of this stuff is going to be done continuously and upgraded on a regular basis. So we shouldn't expect to get everything done by next war, but there's a lot of things that I think we can do for a lot of people, for a lot of folks in our clan. Okay? Absolutely, and we'll talk about that last. I'm going to try and go really fast because, yeah. So the first one is the tapestries. The large tapestries that were done under Brigitte and Finn, they're lovely. They're beautifully done, and the populace did a great job on them, but they have a lot of issues. They're not treated for the outdoor use, so we can't really hang them up at outdoor events where there might be any chance of rain, because they will be utterly destroyed. Secondly, they require walls to be put up, or the back sides of them will detract from the look because they kind of bleed through for most of them. There's a few of them that aren't, but some work that needs to be done to make them attractive. We don't usually put up walls unless it's going to be windy, like it was this weekend. And finally, they are not sized to be used in either of our pavilions. They are too long, too tall, awkwardly shaped, and we have some work to do to get them up. So the first thing is to treat them for outdoor use, if possible. I do not know if it's possible or not. So that's something who knows more about fabrics and fabric arts needs to look into and help us with on that one. The next is to back them with a solid fabric, so since they are all only one-sided, so we don't have to look at a weird mishmash of colors on the back side and detract from them. And finally, we talked about it before, but we have some excess holes that are essentially about to be disposed of that are old tent poles, old flag poles, just old poles that were donated to the barony and aren't being used for anything. We can potentially cut those down, put some ring eyelets on either side, and actually put them up on the side walls to provide support that won't stretch and destroy the canvas, and that will actually help hold them. We might have to do some work on some of the tapestries to make that work, but I think it can be done and something for us to consider.
Hey, Taka.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm only going to say that there's two chat. There was one person that must have posted in the chat. Now there's two, and I'm wondering if they have questions. Yeah. I didn't want to interrupt while you were talking about something in particular, so I was like, I'll do it right at the end.
Oh, can't see the screen.
I'm not getting that block. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, I'm not seeing that block on the screen. Mine is totally clear. I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. Can we share this PowerPoint later?
It is shared to the screen. My intent is to actually put it together now for Lady Labasita,
okay,
and maybe for the Chronicle, and to get something to social media that can be shared out as well.
Fantastic.
yes.
So I'll put this out so it can be looked at, because the rest of the populace needs to see this stuff as well, because they are part of it, and it's important for them as well. Go back. All right, so I am trying to go very fast. I apologize. If somebody's got a question in the room, raise your hand up, and I'll try and answer your question.
Yes, can I also put this in the Thunderbolt?
Yes, I intend to put it into an article format for you so that you can put it into the Thunderbolt. You said the 10th of May was your
Yes.
deadline. I will have it to you this week.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Come on now. There we go. Gotta go back. Hang on. Yep, okay, there we go. All right, tournament trees and in and out signs. Some time ago, Dame Fiona made for us a tournament tree. I think we used it once. Maybe once. And since then, it's pretty much been sitting in the storage room, gathering dust and having things thrown on top of it. I'm not joking. And it'll take some effort to get every fighter's arms so we can use the baronial tree, because it's a really cool idea and works really awesome. We look at Turiskathir, we look at Crown Tournament, and they use them all the time. And Dame Fiona's is a very unique design, which I think is much more aesthetically pleasing. So it's going to take some effort to make sure that it's squared away. It will take some effort to get all the fighters' arms on there.
Do you still have the?
Yes.
We still have the shields, yes. So we can still do all of that, and we know how to do that, and we can get all that done. But I think that we can also use that as an in and out sign at War of the Phoenix. We could potentially use it at any of our events, but specifically I'm thinking War of the Phoenix. And that will take more effort, because then we want to get everybody's arms on there. We'll need separate arms for the Baron, Baroness, and all the officers in the barony as well, so that we can say whether or not those folks are there. I don't know how much room is on the tree, so we'll have to take a look at it. This is mostly just an idea, but we've thrown around the idea of using an in and out board, and we've seen that a number of different wars. So you can walk up to the entrance of a camp and see, oh, the Baron and Baroness out here, they're at the battlefield, so I'll go down to the battlefield, fine. And so we can do some things like that, and we'll have to look at the tree to see if it can be used in that manner. But I think it should be relatively easy to modify for use at the War of the Phoenix. If not, then we should potentially look at creating a different kind of tree that we could use as an in and out sign at the gate. Make sense?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? All right, moving on. Come on. All right. Next is the baronial trailers. I propose that we look at the idea of marking our trailers. Marking our trailers so that they're easily recognized as our trailers. So we could put website information on there, we could put QR codes, we can make it very easy for people who are interested to take a look at them and see who we are, and we can use them as a driving advertisement, These are just concepts. I've got the shield and the arms on there for the Thunderbolt and all the marshals on there for the Marshals trailer. These are just examples. We could do something different. We could throw this out to the party and they could talk about it. We could come up with
Yes.
a consensus idea for each one of these trailers.
The bonus of actually marking our trailers is if, God forbid, they get stolen, it'll be way easier to
Right.
find.
They're-
You
they're-
have her mark the top so the
Yes.
helicopters can.
Oh.
Nice.
So the helicopters can use them as helipads. I believe the best way to do this is going to be a large vinyl sticker. I have not looked into costs. I think the first thing is to figure out what we want to put on it before we worry about checking into costs. This is one of those long-term ongoing projects. Because the first thing we need to do is clean off the Marshall's trailer. There's still got garbage all over it. Yes, ma'am.
Instead of the vinyl stickers, maybe check into wraps.
Yes, that's kind of the idea that I was going with. Yes. Okay, and so this is just an idea for us to consider. It ends up costing money for the barony, and I think the barony populace should be involved in trying to figure out what we want to put on there at some point. Ongoing project, future to look at.
Sounds like a good investment.
Eventually, yes. Within your reign, I think it's possible. Oh. All right, come on, next. All right, next, we're getting close to the end. Camp walls. We talked about this a while ago. Have you guys walked around War of Phoenix and you saw some of the camps with the walls with all their arms and all their shields and all their stuff on it? That's what I propose we do. Okay, 5x5 is a pretty, I think we should, what this requires is each baronial member to get a portable hole or two of their own and to create their own 5x5 wall that can then be put up when they show up to the War of Phoenix. And as the populace members show up, we get a bigger and bigger wall until we are completely enclosed with all of our populace members except for a few entrances and exits. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
And of course, like, there should be like a template or a standard, like, size and way that someone would make their 5x5.
Oh, snaps.
All right.
Yes, and this is just an example.
Nice.
So this is just an example. On the left, as you look at, that's my arms as the moon. On the right is Kensei's as a shield, and of course the baronial stuff in the middle. And yes, the idea would be that we would all have the same kind of template, same size, same idea. So that would be some uniformity. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. Again, these are ideas. We'll throw them out to the rest of the populace and let them think about what they're interested in doing. This is one that everybody can do on their own, to get their own project. We can potentially go to Lady Mariette's, not Marinette. And so.
I'm calling her Marinette from now on.
And
Someone else better know.
project it on the walls and make these banners. And I have to tell you that part of this is inspired from Mistress Gwenfrey and Master Seamus, because at the last Estrella, they had the most awesome setup. I don't know what they had this year at War of the Phoenix, because I was only in and out for a day, but I still remember the fact that we were so small at that last Estrella, and their setup and their display was just beautiful. So, all right, try to move fast. Next one, we're gonna go right to banners, which also this one is as well is Mistress Gwenfrey's fault. So we don't just we have an ensign, we have a populace device, we have a war beast banner, the badge device that has been approved. We have a bunch of cool heraldry in the barony that never gets used. And I think we could show a lot of esprit de corps by getting our own banners. Get your own personal banners out in front of your tent. Line the roads. It just looks amazing. We've all driven by some camp, and they've got flags lining their tent, lining in front of their tents, out in front of their stuff. It looks amazing. And so I think this will go a long way to making us look as awesome as we actually are. All right? And along those same lines, why don't we all have baronial tabards or coats or something in the baronial colors? Why not?
Great idea.
We started talking about that with the Shadowlane and I. It just kind of came out, and there was a donation from our Baroness that looked like someone was wearing a tabard, I'm like, that looks easy to make,
Uh-huh.
we can put, so
Yep.
that's already been kicked
Yeah,
around, we should talk
and
about
this
that.
is from 2020, these are ideas that we've had
We
for a while.
used to
so-
have baronial tabards.
Right,
They became unserviceable due to
So-
the fact that they.
so here's my thought. My thought is not that they are baronial tabards. My thought is that Lady Katra has her own coat that is in baronial colors.
That fits her
Lady
persona.
Megan has her own tabard or medallion or coat or dress that is in baronial colors, so that we can all have baronial colors. They're not restricted to the Baron and Baroness. That's not the only people who can wear the white, green, and black in whatever combination that you want. Okay? And that's my,
Make it an ocean.
that's my idea. We can make it an ocean of baronial colors with your own arms on it.
The last time we had baronial tabards, it was the king required 25 fighters on the field, and that's why Mariette
Yeah.
became a crossbow
Mhm.
fighter, was because we needed 25 people and we didn't have 25 hardsuit fighters at that point.
Right.
But the barony did make a whole bunch of them, and we used them for several years, but again, they get worn out. And it was a baronial thing as opposed to an individual thing, and so you go, oh, hey, you're fighting, and you stick them on everybody, and then, you know, it goes home with them to get washed and it doesn't come back or whatever, so.
Or it comes
And we
back
can-
and it's ripped
We
anyways.
can do both. We can potentially have a workshop where we put together baronial tabards that are the barony's property that we can hand out to fighters as they need them. Because not everybody's going to have a green, white, and black fighting thing.
I like that idea.
I was gonna ask Lady Chaska if is there a pattern for that already, or?
There are plenty of tabards and coats and cloak. and
There are
mantle.
patterns and we have the patterns. So,
So we can, that would be easy
Yes,
enough.
this
It'll
is
be easy
probably a
to
great sewing project
Yeah.
for your sewing project, Lady Chaska, sewing weekends.
yeah, I
But
think so. I think it'd be great.
At the same time, I would like to encourage all of the populace members to do something that is in the baronial colors, that is really, literally yours.
You can do your own persona, your own style of
Yes.
fighting.
Yep.
Can't go wrong.
Match your persona, it can be Middle Eastern, it can be Japanese, it can be whatever.
It can be Incan.
Incan, it can be however you
can.
wanna put it together. I think that's the way to go, yes ma'am.
Chaska threw out an idea that same night too, and maybe it would be good to ask now and ask later, like let people think about it. What about also having a tabard that the guard for the events,
Yes.
the guard for the Baron Baroness would wear, and that stays with baronial stuff.
Mhm.
And when the guard is chosen or shows up, that's when you wear it.
So,
Possible idea.
so that is,
I think we used to do.
So
the,
there's a few.
there are champions things.
Right.
But one of the things that we have, and I am absolutely guilty of this, I wear a lot of clothes already. I don't want to put another thing on over my 4 layers of garments already. So that was why we encourage an individual to make a baronial thing that is theirs.
Right.
That way, they are not they have a thing that they can go, oh, I'm gonna stand guard. Let me put on my baronial coat.
Or
So I can stand guard.
as a compromise, rather than a full coat or a tabard, a sash or an armband or something like that. Could be something that could be used for a baronial guard who don't have
To
their own
like
colors
look the
yet.
same,
Right.
but not be cumbersome.
Because not everybody's going to have right away green and white and black baronial colored guard. So for those who don't, or who didn't have it clean, or who knows, I don't want to talk about what's in my library right now.
The dust.
I know. So, but that is also an option. It doesn't have to be a lot because, as she said, I'm wearing 4 layers of cloth already. Throwing something over top becomes kind of a hassle, and she wears a layer more than I do. So,
But some element of uniformity would be,
right, some element of uniformity for the guard. For we used to have sheriff tabards.
We still have sheriff.
We still have sheriff's tabards, and so there's lots of things that we can do. Now, that is my next to last slide. And so going forward, I think we need to do some planning and coordination via Facebook and get as many people involved as possible. Everybody needs to get with potentially Lady Chaska to make their own garb. We can talk about doing classes for banners. We can potentially do classes and workshops for the walls. I have added a whole bunch of potential stuff to our already mostly empty calendar because we don't have anything going on.
Yukiko-sama has offered Project Night to do some of these things as
Yep.
well.
First
Yes.
Friday,
First
since.
Right, and so in the past, the project nights are quite often, you can do whatever you want, right? Whatever you need to get done, it can be done on a project night. We do a workshop, we can have a workshop that's, I'm working on walls and you know, Paul is working on his tablet. I mean, you don't have to work on the same thing in each one of these workshops. It can be something that's multiple events going on at the same time. So we're Barony, we're a clan, we're family. I think we need to help each other. And I think the idea I have kind of is to show a little pride in our Barony and to show a little pride in our actually pretty small clan here.
Mhm.
I think we have
That's
80
a
odd
whole
people
heck of
who
a
are
lot.
registered. So I think that this could go a long way towards showing some pride in our clan. All right.
Very good.